Hey guys, Adam here and welcome back to my channel. So it's a rainy day here in the Maritimes, but it's actually a pretty good day to do another foraging installment of the grind and feature another vitamin C powerhouse. And instead of approaching this video in terms of just everyday regular health benefits, I thought I would approach it from the standpoint of an athlete or a bodybuilder and why these vitamins and minerals are so important. So this is a spruce tree, and this here is all of this year's new growth, and this is what's edible on an evergreen conifer. And I should tell you right now that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a regular guy that happens to be a biologist and has a personal interest in foraging. Now, maybe before we get into the actual foraging of the spruce tips, people may not know the difference between a spruce and a fir tree. I think everybody can tell the difference between a pine tree and a spruce or a fir because the pine has the long, slender needles. But a spruce and a fir can be a little bit more difficult to identify. So a good rule of thumb is for a spruce tree is think about the needles being stiff and sharp, whereas the fir tree, the needles are flat and fat. And another great characteristic of spruce trees is that the needles jet out from these little woody projections. Okay, that is characteristic of only spruce trees, not fir trees. And the great thing about foraging evergreen conifer tips is that virtually all evergreens are edible and safe, except for the cypress and the yew tree. Okay, Y-E-W, the yew tree. And all evergreen tips have their own unique taste. So why would vitamin C be important to an athlete or to a bodybuilder, power lifter, or anyone who lifts weights? Aside from the obvious immune and health functions that vitamin C provides, what about connective tissue? Okay, we know that bodybuilding probably by far damages the most connective tissue. So vitamin C can actually help repair that connective tissue. So it aids in repair and recovery time. And it also may help with recovery time in terms of oxidative stress. So as an antioxidant, the vitamin C can help reduce some of that oxidative stress from exercise or from free radicals. And what about minerals? How about things like potassium? Okay, we know that potassium for athletes and weightlifters is extremely important for nerve and muscle function, as well as carbohydrate storage and heart health. Another big mineral would be magnesium. So why do you think in terms of athleticism and bodybuilding or weightlifting would magnesium be important in? We already know that it's important in nerve and muscle function, bone integrity, bone density, calcium uptake. But what about things like sleep and testosterone production? Okay, magnesium is extremely important in sleep. And as a weightlifter or a bodybuilder or as an athlete, sleep is extremely important. And what about testosterone production? Okay, as an athlete who's over 30 or 35, testosterone boosting is extremely important. So magnesium is a huge natural test booster. So eat handfuls of these things, okay? Stay off the TRT. Eat magnesium-rich foods, and we've got one right here behind me that's completely free. And spruce tips is also a great source of chlorophyll, right? And chlorophyll is also an important antioxidant that's going to help you, that may, as an athlete, help you with recovery times by reducing oxidative stress with exercise and free radicals. So there are a ton of benefits to eating spruce or evergreen conifer tips, aside from the fact that they taste great. And one thing that you have to realize about foraging conifer tips is that this is the new growth. So if you pick too many from a branch, you're essentially pruning the tree and they will not grow back. So you want to spread out your foraging, not take too much from one area, and try and focus too on the areas underneath that don't get a lot of sunshine that may die off, or on the shaded side. If you have to get it from the sunny side, don't take too many. And all stages of the tips are edible. So even these little red buds here, these ones, and the larger the tip, the more concentrated of the spruce flavor you're going to get. But they all have a great lemony taste, and that's because of the terpene limonene that's in it. So they all taste like citrus or lemons, but different sizes will have different strengths of taste. So the smaller buds have a more lemony taste than the larger buds. But what you're looking for are these soft parts right here. Okay? You want these soft ends. And what you want to do is you want to take this little piece of paper off. And then this entire piece is edible. And they're really good, man. They're a bit of a strong taste, so if you're not, a big fan of strong tasting foods like strong coffees or strong spices or strong taste in general, and it will take some, it may take some time to get used to these spruce tips, but man, I could eat handfuls of these things. Okay, so what I'll do now is I will pick a bunch of spruce tips and we'll meet you back in the house. And while I'm doing that, why don't you hit subscribe to this channel? All right, so we're back here in the kitchen. We have our bowl of spruce tips. I didn't get a lot because I was getting rained on pretty good out there, so I thought I'd come back in the house. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few great uses for spruce tips. Besides the fact that you can, just eat them as is, they freeze great, so you can freeze them and keep them all year, so they're a great source of vitamin C that way. You can snack on them whenever you want to. But you can also put them inside a bottle or a jar. Okay, and once you have the jar filled, obviously I would try and fill it all the way to the top. What you want to do next is you fill it up with water until all the spruce tips are covered. And if these were filled to the top, you would have there'd be no space. It'd be all tips and water. And you seal that up tight. If you pop that in the fridge for about 24 hours, what'll happen is it'll reduce that spruce taste, and all you'll be left with is a refreshing citrusy beverage that you can drink during your workouts or whenever. But besides that, you can use them as a garnish on salads. They're great on salads. And I also have a great cookie recipe that is great around Thanksgiving or Christmas time. It's a great savory cookie. So if you want that recipe, I can put it down in the comment section at the end of this video. And yeah, so give these tips a try. If you're out running or walking or hiking, have a look around for evergreen conifers. This is the time of year to harvest. But as I said, don't harvest too much because you are basically pruning that tree and you don't want to take away too much of its new growth. So with that, if you like this video, give me a like, some comments, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for episode 50 of The Ways and other installments of The Grind. Cheers.